Good afternoon to viewers, the Colonel speaking to you live from the Lay Rectory, home of the Squire, for another Squire Rambles on. I'm not sure which number it is, 15, 16? I don't know.
One or the other.
One or the other. And the Squire is here. Good afternoon, Squire.
Good afternoon, Colonel. Good afternoon, everybody.
And you've just been showing me this wonderful machine, which I thought, when I first saw it, was the product of the Bauhaus movement in Germany in the 30s. Is it a Walter Gropius production? It looks jolly interesting, doesn't it? Can you tell us something about this fascinating machine, Nigel?
Well, it would be nice if it was, but it's actually something I did.
Something what you made earlier?
What I made earlier,
amazing.
Yes, well, now, to get down to basics, we need to look underneath at this. Now, if you can see in there,
yes,
it's got this very weird motor.
The Jenkins Patent Deerham motor.
With the, almost like a gate spring.
It is a gate spring.
Now, I did show this, the motor, at the last gramophone day in Whitney, but I decided then it was time I really ought to do something about this, because it was just sitting in the shed doing nothing, and I thought, well, it's a pity I can't just make something of it that will make it usable and just demonstrate it. So what I did, I cut the motor board down a bit to match the board at the bottom. So basically you've got the motor, the motor board on 6 pillars with a baseboard.
Yes.
And you see, the funny thing about this is that the handle, you see, is only that big.
That's the clue with these machines.
That's the clue with these.
Originally a Supra Grand, not with an E in Super, they lost the E, but they're very simple machines, aren't they? There's nothing much to them.
No, basically, I don't think anybody would really want the gramophone this came out of, because it was very cheap and tatty, incredibly cheap.
The deluxe version, as I recall, had a 6-inch nail through the motorboard to actually put your records on.
Yes, that's right.
That was the deluxe version, viewers.
So we wind it up.
You can see the gate spring contracting there.
Right, so that's that. I'll put it straight. I'm going to play. First record I'm going to play is one of the Woolworths Crown records.
Yes.
So this was made about.
We ought to talk about the tone up, because you.
Oh yes, well it'll be come into this. We'll put the record on. Now, one of the little improvements I made is that this arm is adjustable.
Right.
I can undo these wing nuts, and then I can adjust the needle to get the tracking in the right place, because the thing, you can actually
swivel it backwards or forwards to
move
get
it
the
backwards
tracking
or forwards.
Yes.
So you can get it more or less right for the sound box, and then tighten it back up, and then if you put a different kind of sound box on, you can alter it, alter it again.
You can get the tracking perfect.
So you can get the tracking
wonderful.
right. So let's try this one. This is probably made about 1935. It's played by the Radio Serenaders. Now that is a cover name for quite a well-known band. I can't just remember who it was. No. It could be Lou Stone or somebody like that, but it was a well-known band. And it's called Moon Over Miami.
I think we should stress there's no horn. It's all reflected off the baseboard.
All it is basically is I chose a fairly long tone arm, and then there's just a hole under here, and it reflects off of the baseboard.
Yes.
Now, I have to stress this is the Mark I version.
Right.
That it's a work in progress.
Yes.
I've got other ideas I'm going to apply to it in time. So if I showed it to you in a few months' time, it might look a bit different. I'm thinking about putting an external horn on it. But
I think it has a certain Bauhaus simplicity as it is, Art Deco, sort of minimalist, industrial look to it.
Well, that was basically was the idea. I didn't want anything too luxurious, but there's a fair amount of room in that tone arm to get a fairly good
sound. It's ebonised with teak columns. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Not antique columns.
Well, this is a tune called Moon Over Miami.
love and me, so we can stroll beside the roll of the rolling sea. Moon over Miami, shine on as we begin a dream or two that may come true when the tide comes in. Hark to the song of the smiling troubadours, hark to the throbbing guitars. Hear how the waves of the thunder of the floors, after each song to the stars. Moon over Miami, you know we're waiting for a little love, a little kiss on Miami shore.
That was great.
The motor isn't the steadiest of ones. It's a bit it wows a bit. But the problem is with this motor, it's unlike an ordinary. It's unlike an ordinary gramophone motor in the sense that if I tip it back up again and you have a look at it, it's actually basically made of 4 separate components. You've got the bottom plate and the top plate and 2 side plates, and they're screwed together. So the top, these 2 are not part of the top as in say a garage.
No.
So it's very, very difficult to get it set properly. So it's only got to be a fraction out and then it won't run at all.
It won't run.
No. In fact, it's running loose. I think most of the top screws aren't even tightened up.
Oh dear.
If you tighten them up, it won't run. It'll just stop.
No.
So it's obviously a very skilled job to get it to run properly.
Well, it must flex when you tighten it up.
Yes, exactly.
So, yes.
Well, of course, you get a garage motor, or something like that. You've got a casting, and then a plate that goes on the bottom of it. But it fits onto something solid, so it doesn't.
Yeah, and they're machined perfectly, so it all lines up.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you don't get that problem.
But for something with no horn, but I know that's an extremely long tone arm for its type.
Yeah.
That was an incredible sound.
It's a lot of volume, isn't it? I was surprised. I haven't tried it with a needle. I've sort of used it on fairly soft needles. That's one of those HMV high fidelity needles.
Right.
So it's sort of been between medium and loud.
Yes. Any other record you'd like to play?
Yes, I was going to put on this one, which is an Eclipse.
Yes.
Now I don't know who this man is. Its name, it's on the record as Duncan Ross.
Oh.
Now who that is, I don't know, but this is an old American song called "Will the Angels Play Their Harps for Me?" So we'll wind it up.
Because there isn't an awful lot of power in this motor, is there?
No, there isn't. It's only about 3/16, like a 3/16 spring really. It's not terribly strong. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to maybe fit a different turntable.
Yes.
See if I can get one of the heavy old cast iron ones and put on there, because the turntable does make a heck of a difference.
Oh yes, acts as a flywheel, doesn't it, really?
Well, I had a couple of Pathé machines once. I think one was a horn one and one was a hornless grand. One had a 12-inch and one had a 10-inch turntable. And the one with the 10-inch wouldn't play a big record. I swapped the turntables round and it played it perfectly. So, there's an awful lot in that. Well, let's open up those pearly gates for me.
Yes.
Open up them pearly gates, open up them pearly gates, open up them pearly gates for me, hallelujah, hallelujah. When I hear that trumpet blast, I'll be coming home at last. Open up them pearly gates for me. Let no If you want to get to heaven, better get down on your knees and pray. Oh, you Gavin sinner, better quit saying 7-Eleven. Get yourself prepared for Judgment Day. Yes, I've had a vision. I've seen all them gates are closed and frozen, and I've seen you sinners all outside. You better make your decision. I don't find that you'll be chosen. It'll be too late when you're gonna lay down and die. Open up them pearly gates. Open up them pearly gates. Open up them pearly gates for me. Hallelujah, hallelujah. When I hear that trumpet blast, I'll be coming home at last. Open up them pearly gates for me. Go out to your chicken boots. Just ask yourself an honest question, and the Lord will know it if you lie. You better turn all them chicken boots, or you'll die from indigestion when you eat that stolen chicken pie. Take that cake of cheese, dump it at the big garden's order bar. Don't you let old Satan stay your hand. And if then you fill it up again, it'll put a hole out in your liver, and the gates won't open when you reach that promised land. Open up them pearly gates. Open up them pearly gates. Open up them pearly gates for me. Hallelujah, hallelujah. When I hear that trumpet blast, I'll be coming home at last. Open up them pearly gates for me.
Oh, there we are.
Well, well, well. And I think that song was probably written by, well, according to this, it would be Carson Robeson.
Right.
I think it was one of his.
Yes.
Because he was over in this country for he came over on tour, because his band, Carson Robeson, you see their records on Diorium and also I think on Decca.
I think they had concerts in theatres and
I
things,
believe so,
didn't they?
yes. But I mean, that was a kind of, I suppose, a kind of commercial group. But no, it's an interest. I don't know. It's labelled as being sung by Duncan Ross, but who he was, I don't know. Because I think most Eclipse records were under pseudonyms.
Yes, I think they were.
There were one or two originals. I mean, Leslie Cerrone was certainly on those, but there were some well-known named, but there were a lot of assumed names as well.
Well, there we are. Well, what an interesting machine. Again, another one of your own collection there.
Well, the point is, I mean, obviously, as you know, I mean, I've collected gramophones.
Yes.
I've been interested in gramophones for at least 60 years, and I feel now it's time to have a bit of fun and try something a bit different.
Yes, and that certainly is a bit different. But anyone can make one of these. All you need is a motor, a tone arm, a couple of bits of wood and a drill. You know, it's that simple.
It is, and the thing is, it does sound quite good.
It does.
And I've got to do a lot more experimenting with the sound box. It's just one I picked up and put on there. But I think that's giving quite a good result.
I think it's an excellent result.
It will run a bigger record. I have played 12-inch ones on it, but it gets a bit dodgy at the end sometimes. But I might have to design a weight adjuster for it. Just take a little bit of the weight of the sound box off.
That's a good idea.
But as I do stress, this is the Mark I version. I'm going to name this machine the Skelatophone.
Skelatophone, yes. I think skeleton,
yes. A bit like a gramophone version of a skeleton clock.
Oh, yes. Or a society member.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Dem bones, Nigel.
Oh dear. I don't think we're going to that.
Them dry old bones, yes.
That does give me an idea, actually, whether to incorporate a clock mechanism.
I think you should incorporate some sort of bones supporting these columns. You know.
I think there are many appropriate and strange suggestions.
And you could use a sort of the tone arm could come out of a skull or something, couldn't you? That'd be a bit grotesque, wouldn't it?
That really would be pushing it a bit.
Yeah, the Christopher Lee model. play it with a fang.
Oh dear,
But no,
dear.
you've done thanks for the memory, we should say. But what a great and very simple machine that produces the basics, really. That's all you need to see in a machine, and it works wonderfully well.
Well, one of the things I'm thinking of trying, there's just about enough room above the spring
Yes.
to build a kind of a little box section
Yes.
to come out from under the tone arm, either here or there, and then put an external horn on it.
Yes.
And I did think I may be able to rig it that there's a lever that I can either direct the sound as it is now straight through or through the horn and turn it into a weird equivalent of one of the French night and day machines.
You could do, but I can't help thinking that simplicity is best, and you've got the basics here, and it looks fantastic. As I say, a Bauhaus model.
Well, it's basically it's what I set out to do, but it's one of those things I really sometimes can't leave something.
No.
I've got to think that's why I stress it's the Mark 1
Yes.
version. Then
Well,
maybe
I suppose we could find a sort of dog kennel, and then it would be a Bauhaus model.
Dear.
Any more jokes, viewers? Come on. Do better than the Colonel, win a cabbage. Yes, but it's a supermodel. It's simplicity. You can explain this to a child.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. And the important thing is they can see it working.
I
think what I'm going to do, I think I might put some battery-operated lights underneath
That's a
to
good
show up the motor a bit better.
Yes, or even a mirror, perhaps.
I'm
Mind you,
going-
that shiny surface is doing very well.
It's not. It really, a mirror would be quite good there. So I might well put some mirroring. I did think about putting mirror on these pillars,
Yes.
or
But
chroming, or getting some chrome or something, and because then it would really look really much more Art Deco if it was done like that.
But as it is, it looks fantastic. It really
Well,
does.
it's been a bit of fun. I mean,
That's the whole point, isn't it?
if you think about it, there's this one I've done. I've done that homemade horn, the trademark model, the one that I made out of odd bits. And there's one we haven't seen for a long time with a Simpsons electric motor that will play the record backwards.
And of course, there's the one behind you, the Skelatophone, which is the ultimate, really, the Rolls-Royce of homemade machines.
Well, yes, I wish somebody would come forward and identify who made that.
Well, actually, it's probably the Bentley. The Rolls-Royce got broken up by the idiots in the aforementioned society.
There's no accounting for taste, is there?
No,
really?
they haven't got any.
But I did think it was a pity because it would be like saying, oh, Sir Henry Royce made a unique one-off car and they didn't like the look of it and they scrapped it.
Well, they used the chassis for a standard model, yes.
It's a bit so I couldn't really get my head around that. I am working on other weird contraption ideas in my mind, so it'll be watch this space time.
Well, absolutely. But thank you very much for showing us this wonderful machine. And Nigel can be seen at various local fetes, can't you, at this time of the year?
Yes, there'll be a...
Not fetes worse than death, viewers, but nice events where machines are appreciated.
Well, I'm in the Whitney Model and Collectors Club, and we do...
I seem to recall you used to be president of it, or chairman, or whatever it was.
Up to last year, I was chairman, and it's basically people who have been engineers in the past and do modelling and collectors. So it's modelling and collecting. So I fit in somewhere between the two, because although I haven't done what they do on that, I mean, they would make
they
the
would
arm,
engineer a tone arm.
they engineer the motor. I'm not capable of doing that.
No.
I haven't got the equipment.
It doesn't matter.
And it's really using up spare parts and trying to create something a bit different.
And you certainly have. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, viewers, apart from the lame jokes from me, and there'll be more soon. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye bye everyone.
Thank you. Bye.